Hello guys, my name is Zsolt and I'd like to show you a couple of new Astah SysML version 10 features. The new version of the tool came out just a couple of days ago. So let's go through the list of those new features and let's see how they work. So the first feature is maintain straight relationship lines following way. So if you had here like a block, whenever you changed the size of this block, then also the lines, both lines moved because the idea was to keep the same ratio that the connections are, and that means if you resized that block, then those also moved to the right, and that's probably not something that you want. So yeah, obviously I can move this, but if I click here to the resize, then as you can see, my diagram is not changing, only the part which I'm resizing. And I think that's a very nice and a very great feature. The second feature is the expanded label wrapping capabilities. So obviously this is basically a Japanese tool, and in the Japanese language, you are using hiraganas, katakanas, and kanjis. And that means you are not writing very long sentences in general. I mean, on a screen. But if you are using another language like English, then obviously your texts are longer compared to the Japanese texts. Have, for example, this operation here, which can be like very long, and then you might want to just make it like wrap, and then this way you can have like smaller diagrams which are still looking kind of nice. The displaying of the tagged values on a diagram. So earlier, if you had like a stereotype, and a stereotype had some type of tagged values, then you could set it in the model, but certainly not on the diagram. So it wasn't displayed on the diagram. So let me show you how normally it looked like. So basically that was what you could like create. So I have this microservice stereotype. I have tagged value like URL. There is a value, but I couldn't show it on a diagram. But now you can actually do that. So either you select the element, right mouse click, plus extended visibility, and then you select the tagged value, or you can also do the same for the whole diagram. So like here, apply, which basically does the same. So I think that's a great step forward. It works really nice. So that's it. That's it for this feature. The next one is drag and drop support. So they added drag and drop support for a couple of use cases. So here I can create a connector. So that's like an IBD diagram. And so like obviously here I want to set the item that is flowing from here to there. So for example, I want to have here like a value type, I don't know, my data, whatever. And then I want to show like, okay, client is sending some data to the server. The type is like my data. And the way I could set it is using this conveyed attribute. And so one thing that is very nice that here we have like this selector. So like if multiple items can be selected, then you can just like select them like one by one and press OK. And then this is displayed. I think that's very nice. Another thing that we can do here is just like having like a connection here and using this drag and drop feature. So yeah, I undo the couple of actions I did. So I have this my data, and then I can drag it either to the left side or to the right side, and that will automatically add this element. And I think that's very nice. That's a very useful feature. And actually, this also works, for example, for activity diagrams. So if I have an activity diagram I have a parameter node, and if I add like a partition, this also works, this is also over. And so if I have this my data, I think I can just drag and drop here. Yeah, as you can see, it is already setting it as like as a type. I can create also like blocks, so it works like, I don't know, my request, and I can create something like my response, like 2 blocks. Then I can just drag it here, and I can just drag it here, and that's it. And so those parameters are already typed. You can see that it's like request. And yeah, and maybe I can even hide this block stereotype. It's not really necessary. And there is also an additional very nice feature that if you want to like maintain your diagram, you can just go here, right mouse click, minimize size, this diagram. It is minimizing it. I think that's very nice. Okay, it's just a couple of like, I don't know, seconds, but it's still time which we can spare. Also, there is another feature. If you have like 2 actions here, and I create an object flow, then it is finally not displaying the constraints. To be honest, I didn't need those constraints. Let me show you. So this like, is it like a FIFO or whatever? I mean, normally I don't need it. And now it is not showing it, but the behavior is configurable in, I think, tools, system properties, and somewhere in this initial visibility, or maybe under SysML. No, it's maybe in one of those initial visibility groups. So I think this is a very nice feature as well. So you can also clone model elements. So previously, what we had here, if I wanted to clone this because whatever reasons, then I had to like select this element and press clone, and then basically a clone of that element was created in the model. But I can actually do the same now on the diagram as well. So I can just simply clone it, and then this new element is also added to the diagram. But as you can see, like there is a cloned version. So this is also working. Now, improved type selection search. Yeah, so type selection was like not very super handy, but now it really is. So like if you had like a big model, it's really lots of model elements, and then you wanted to select the type, then you get like this very long list, and you couldn't really search or anything. And now there is like a dialog being displayed, and then I can select like, I don't know, my interface. So I can even filter here. So I think that's pretty nice. And then this is how I can like have a type here. Yeah, there is this. This is a nice feature. To be honest, I don't really use this mind map, but nevertheless, if you have like a couple of files, you can just create a mind map, drag and drop them, and then they will be all added. And then there is a link, and then you can already like jump to the file and just read it. So there is another feature which you can use to streamline multiple image exports. So previously, I think you could just export diagrams one by one, and it took really some time. But with this, you can have like all the diagrams exported. And I think this is nice. There are some performance boost, scroll panel fixes, and yes. So there is another nice thing. These separators, these were not really here. And I had to spend some time in some cases like to find the correct model element I needed, because they were like just like this big bunch of lots of buttons. but now they are very nicely separated. So I think it's looking very nice. I think this is also like a great additional. Yeah, ports remain stationary. I think this is also something very nice. So if I resize this, as you can see, the port remains here. I mean, if it is, I mean, previously I think it was moving, and it is like not what you want. So that is also a very nice feature. So imagine you have this block, and you have a couple of operations. I don't know. That is operation 2, operation 3, whatever. And imagine a situation when you just want to create like a new diagram, just totally new diagram, and have this server here. And yeah, obviously I can select like show all the operations, but like maybe I don't want to see all the operations on this diagram. Just, I don't know, maybe just operation 3. And in the previous version, you just couldn't do that. So like it was like all or nothing. Now it actually changed. So we can go into the extended visibility, select this each attribute operation, and here you will see all the attributes and all the operations. And then you can select one by one which you want to be displayed. So I'm just interested here only operation 3. And maybe I will also add, I don't know, 2 values. And I just want to see like value 2. So I can just simply hide the value 1 and call it a day. And that's it. Like if you have an activity diagram and you don't want to like, okay, select the pin and then select the type, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I can just select this, drag and drop, and select this, drag and drop. Yeah, obviously that's incorrect. So that's the correct one. But yeah, as you can see, like it's drag and drop, drag and drop. It's really fast. So if you want to rename block, like you just press F2. So like earlier you had to select like this exact label as part of the block, or maybe here it's like more visible. So if you selected this exact label, then you could rename it. But normally you just like want to select the block and press F2 and just rename it. And now you can do that. I mean, it's again kind of a small thing, but like from the usability point of view, it is really great. And yeah, it is also working for ports. This is nice. And there is also something like that all related diagrams menu, the association and properties in the structure tree, so that you can jump to a diagram. So that means that I can jump to all the places where this element, this part is being used. So that is here, but the same part is also here. So I think this is something very nice. This is like, you can really spare some time with this. And also you can do the same for the collect connectors. And okay, so there is another very nice feature. So if I have this activity diagram and also an activity, and I create a new one, maybe here, a new activity diagram, and it's basically like an activity diagram, and behind that, behind the scenes, there is also an activity. So what you can do is just simply grab this activity diagram, drag and drop it, and as you can see, it creates a call behavior action with, and I think this is a new thing, with all the pins. So like the pins are also created. So I can also align the pins, move all to left. Okay, that's it. And then double click, and then it is jumping there. So like this is also like really sparing some time. There is another feature implemented editing functionality for stereotypes. My understanding is that if we create a stereotype, for the project. So in the easy profile, for example, then I think we can rename this stereotype to something else. And previously this was not possible, but now it is possible. And let me check, can I do that also for a stereotype that I imported? So yes, okay, that's nice. So even if you like imported an external profile, and the external profile having like a couple of stereotypes, you can actually rename those elements. So yeah, this is the other separators. I think they're very nice. They make things easier to read. And you can now import Camel package diagrams and block definition diagrams. If you had like a use case diagram, so let me just create here like a use case diagram, and you can have those like extension points. So like you can have this use case diagram and extension point, and then you can add like a new extension point. And previously you couldn't show those extension points. Again, you could define them in the model, it was in the model, but it wasn't displayed on the diagram. And now it is displayed. There are some kind of discussions like, okay, there is this actor guy, and it can be part of a context, but like, okay, what about an IBD? But now you can actually, because previously that was it. I mean, you could define an actor, but you couldn't display it on an IBD diagram. But now you can actually display it like this way as an actor, as a block or a box basically, and then you can make a connection here and there, and that's it. Some people agree on that. Well, yeah, like having actors is a nice thing. Other people say like, okay, maybe actors don't make really any sense. They should be like just a block, and then an actor can have like an interface. It can have like ports. It can do certain things. I mean, I kind of agree with that. Uh, Sometimes it is like super useful. Sometimes you need this. In other cases, you just want to have like an actor and just call it a day. But finally, now you can use actors also on the IBD diagrams. And as you can see, like there are so many issues resolved. There is one additional feature I wanted to show you. There is like a new plugin, and if you go to, I think, to the plugins, then there is something like an HTML export plugin. So this is a new one. As you can see, it's December 4th. You can just download it. And so what it can do is it can export your model as an HTML. So I can create here like a new file, a new folder, new export, I don't know, something. And then it takes some time, but then it is telling you, oh, okay, export is complete. So do you want to open the index HTML in your browser? And now you get this simple interface. On the left side, you see this tree, and then you can select your diagrams, which are exported from Astah, and also a couple of like blocks, and even if they have like internal block diagrams, part of a block, and this is also something that you can see. So it is working. In some cases, you have like operations and values. So it is like super minimalistic, but it is working. You can scroll here. You can send it to your colleague and like, okay, this is the diagram I'm talking about. And they don't need to have like an Ashta license just to like see a diagram or even see the whole model structure. So it is like a very simple solution, but it kind of gets the job done if your only goal is to share your model without any kind of additional, I don't know, user management or anything. So this was my presentation of the new Astah SysML. And if you have any questions, either regarding to Astah or plugin development, feel free to ask. I am very happy to help. Thank you guys. Have a nice day.